How are we doing, friends? Memorial Day, Central Florida. Gorgeous, gorgeous day today too. Bright, sunny, blue skies. We're going to take a tour of Lake Woodruff National Wildlife Refuge. Depending on how hot it is out here, may decide to shorten the trip a little bit. So there's a few loops. There's a small loop that goes to the right. There's a loop that goes over here into the woods that way. This side over here, there's a swamp. Looks like it's pretty dry, but one loop goes all the way around and we can come back up the road we came in. There's also off into that area another parking lot that's got a open meadow and a pine area. That's another loop. This is the main parking area. Yeah, this is very dry. I've been coming out here for 25 years. I've never seen this side without water ever in 25 years. It'll be interesting to see how this affects the wildlife out here. So there's a road here that goes straight out. I don't know how far it is. It's a good clip though. It's further than we can see. And then just in the middle where that tree line is, it extends across the path. There's another looping trail. And, this, you can see way, way, way out in the distance here in a moment. I get up on this levee. I call it a levee. So straight out there in that tree line, about right past that big tree line is the river. Out there you can kind of sort of see a brown roof. That's an observation tower. I think that's an Audubon tower. So basically all it is, as far as the eye can see, it's got grids of these paths laid out. And then in between is supposed to be like a marshland. This whole area is set up for migrating birds. But we also have a good population of rabbit, bobcat, otters, owls, hawks, nesting eagles. We'll be pretty close to where the eagles are. It's not something you can actually see with the GoPro. You hear the tree frogs. Or the frogs. Yeah, a day like today, the UV coming off the sun's going to be intense, so we may just do this first loop and we'll do the one off the parking lot because that one's sort of wooded. Take a step out on this little observation dock. There's a turtle right there. I don't know what our view is, but you should be able to see him right there. See that, oh look, turtle eggs, they've been dug up and eaten. But can you see that pink flower right there? That's marshmallow, M-A-L-L-O-W. They keep this grass trimmed back as much as possible because there are alligators out here and they like to hide up in the grass. So what they're going to do is we're going to take a walk out just a little bit beyond this point here. There's a little pond right here, and even that is awfully dry. Water levels are really low. Now I know that they could change the level around here. I don't know how they exactly do it. But I know that there's down off that point way out there, there is a pumping station. Massive pumping station. Look, some cattails. Punks, we used to call them punks. And I see way out there a gorgeous lily. You see two flowers. That's probably way outside the capability of the camera. This is the famous wings. I'm not sure, but I think that these may have been here before they did the ones in town. Now look at that live oak tree right there. So we'll just stand here and pretend that we're wearing the wings. We got our own wings. Another live oak right here. Now, some 20 years ago, this entire main pond area was completely encompassed by palm trees, and they opted to cut them all out for some reason. So we're not going to go out any further than this, I don't think. But it's about a 20-minute walkabout for the smallest loop, and almost an hour for the largest of the loops. And I'll bet you an hour and 15 to the river. Yeah, maybe an hour to the river. There's some more turtle eggs that got eaten. So we're gonna double back here. Look at the canopy this oak tree's putting up. Yeah, it is a hot one. I'm pretty sure we're expecting a 110 degree plus heat index with today's high 90. Got to be very careful not to dehydrate. That's why I'm only going to do the short trails today. we'll save exploring the bigger ones later in the year. There's some more of that marshmallow. I can get up close to this one so you guys can see it. Oh, there was a bee inside it, but that's the marshmallow. Get a lot of bees pollinating. Forgot to look inside before I moved it. Got my Nikon camera with me. Trying to pop off some pictures while I'm out here today. Okay, so we're back on track to our short loop, which just goes like this. And connects both parking lots. There's a spot through here where there's easy activity. Maybe up in this spot right here. Kind of point the camera down a little bit. I don't see any, but usually you'll see holes. There's one right there. That hole right there. Usually there'll be hundreds and hundreds of them all through this area, all up about to where that palm tree over there is falling over. And this is where your ground dwelling solitary bees live. Not all bees live in hives. So on our right is the swamp, and then there's a levee, and to our left is the lake. I think it's Mud Lake, possibly. You'll be able to see the lake in a moment. I see more evidence of turtle shells having been dug up and eaten. I hear a hawk in the background, or possibly the eagles. Could be an eagle. That was a hawk there. The other one definitely is an eagle. there. Somewhere out in here is a seep, I think it's called. Like water's trickling out of the ground from an underground aquifer, kind of like an artesian. That appears to be dry too. Listen to the woodpecker. It's really close. Used to be a path right here, but you see it's got this sign up. Sign's been up at least 15 years now, because out in there is an active eagle nest. There's only a small space up here. All right, this is where we get cooked. No shade for a few minutes. All right, so we're going to take this cut-off path here, which puts us on the northeast side of the park. Right through there is the parking lot, and out going that way is the entry road out there. Is where we crossed over the tracks. So we'll do part of this walk. And also looking to see if I can't spot the eagles. There's a spot where you can see their tree. Yeah. Can't see nothing. Too much stuff in the foreground blocking the view. It's probably been a long time since they've done a prescribed burn at this park. I think that's the last straight through spot to the eagle nest. The first two are completely blocked off too. I didn't even mention those. Used to be able to see right through here too, and that's completely blocked off now. There's a tree that fell over, and they just left it here. They haven't done much to trimming these trails back, and I gotta be careful not to rub up against anything today. I didn't spray for ticks. Okay, so we've arrived at our point of interest. The St. John's people. Come a little closer so you can read it. Some stone points. And this talks about the whole area from Lake George down to Lake Harney, which is down past Sanford. Monroe's the big one in Sanford, and then when you go further south, there's another one out there. There's a nice illustration of a dugout and them fishing. And here's some midden. You can see a shell and some kind of bone, and you'll also find pottery fragments. "5,000 years they lived around here. By 1565, St. Augustine, and they were dying off. Take a short walk right out to this crossroad right here. So the recent history was all orange groves, of course. You know, just a little bit beyond that tree line is still an active orange grove. A lot of trails. You don't see too much wildlife out here. Snakes, songbirds, birds of prey. I've never seen alligators in this part. I think it's just way too far away from any active water. But there are wild pig and there are deer, and there's also bear out here. So you do want to be cautious when you walk around Lake Woodruff, especially when you're on the side with all the levees and all the waterways. There's a couple really gigantic alligators. One I think is nicknamed Snaggletooth, and you don't want to meet him on his bad side or bad day. I've actually been fortunate to get within a few feet of it boldly where no man should be. I was laying on the ground using a macro lens on a Nikon doing video. You see, this is just all mixed wood hammock. There's live oak, water oak, maple, probably sycamore, something like a sycamore. Palm trees, of course. All right, well, let's head for a spot in the shade. We're feeling a nice breeze right here. We'll take a minute break, grab something to drink here. Bear with me, folks. We're gonna keep running. That's what we're having to drink, and it's chilled. Gotta shake it up to mix the citrus rind up and take a little of the gas off this. As they say in Spanish, mucho gaseoso, no bueno. So I take sips and then break the sips into 6 or 8 or 10 little swallows. So 3 small sips gives it appearance of a good half a bottle. Right. Away we go. And it is bloody hot today. Ooh. I can definitely feel it. It's almost getting to the point where it might just be the one loop until they blow the other one off. The last leg of this one's down the road, and that's going to make it twice as hot. that gazebo. Is it where they stepping into the shade? Oh, absolutely. It's like 10 degrees cooler. Okay. Might be advantageous just to sit down on this end right here and catch some breeze for a minute. We'll call that a minute. Excuse me. Now the left path here goes around that way and comes back into where we just came from when we did our turnaround. This one cuts back in towards the fire road and the actual road into the refuge. There we go. They got a nice and wide path. Muscadine, that's a wild grape that grows. You can see it going up there, the vine. You see it all through here, see it? It's a little grape about yay big. They make wine and they make a preserve out of it. There's a maple right there. More muscadine mixed in. Out here the birds get most of it. The bears probably get it, and then whatever hits the ground, the gopher tortoises probably scarf it up. I'm sure the raccoons are eating too. Imagine how many drunk animals there are once they start dropping off the tree in masses, off the vine in masses, all rotten. Half the wildlife refuge is going to be drunk on mash. Yeah, usually I would cut right down that path, but they haven't cleared that one in a while, and then just there's the road right there. But we're going to see what the shadows are doing down here. All right, so we're going to take the grass path. There's a couple skips and jumps. To the shade. and hit these long stretches in sun. It's just blistering hot. There's a breeze blowing, but it's blowing hot air. It doesn't really have any effect. It actually makes you hotter. Well, we're probably like 3 to 5 minutes away from shade from this next stop right here. This plant right here, you can see that. That is a milkweed. That's a native. There's a couple of them popping up right there. At least it looks like the milkweed. We do get a milkweed that looks like that. So somebody's watching the video and says other than that, hit me up in the comments. This spot isn't too bad. Intermittent shade. We're coming up to the road. We'll definitely skirt the parking lot. Breeze is blowing parallel to me, so I won't get all the heat coming off the parking lot. All right. I'm going to take a moment here. The palm trees are our next shade. Nothing like the canopy of a tree on a hot day. It bewilders me when people buy a property and the first thing they do is they want to cut down all the trees. Having trees is beneficial to the environment. Gotta watch it. Sometimes cars come through at lightning speeds. I've had people come through here doing 55 and 60. I think it's posted 15, along with signs out before you come into the park. I've seen people come in here with trucks and end up on the side here buried in the mud, like it's totally stuck where they got to get wreckers and stuff. That kind of stuff's uncalled for. Watch out for the ants. The imported fire ants. Those suckers hitchhike in on everything. Seems like the more they fight it, the worse it gets too. Whew, look. Getting closer to some canopy. Did I mention there's bobcat at this park too? I don't know if I did or didn't, but I don't recall seeing any. But many years back I was making the same walk when a small pickup truck came by with a few people sitting in the back, and it happened to have been a couple friends of mine, and they're like, "Hey dude, jump in, I'll give you a ride." I said, "Nah, I'm okay. You know, I've been hiking out here a few hours. It was a nice day. It was cooler out." And no sooner did I got back to the main parking lot, they were all ranting and raving, showing me all their photos. You know, and that was back when like cameras on phones really sucked. So it wasn't like quite your megabyte files. It was like the KB size thumbnail bull. And yeah, there was a bobcat right on the trail. I hear an e-car, something coming down the path. So I'm gonna stand at the wayside a minute, let them pass. Yeah, this is surprising that there's no water here at all. But you know, it's a good thing. The good thing is there aren't any mosquitoes. My phone keeps ringing out here. You hear that? Yeah, it's a large, looks like a large bee fly maybe. Still can't see too well after getting my eye scratched yesterday. Still having vision problems. So I'm just going by the buzz they're making. Here comes that same car again. Oh no, this is a truck leaving. So I'm also an amateur entomologist. I've been photographing and documenting the decline of the insect population in this part of Florida. And I've seen about a 78 to 84% decrease in total populations, and a few